Hello, my name is FrostCandy, and I recently wrote some vote software that I'd like you to evaluate if you have time. Okay, the first thing to know is where to go to get this layout page. This is an overview of the entire project. And in the address bar, you'll just go to vote.frostcandy.com. Okay, once you are at the page, the first link takes us to the server code. This is the actual code I wrote, and it's currently in a repository on GitHub. So any of you, programmer or not, you can click on this green button and click download zip. That'll make sure there's copies out there. And anyone with a copy can hand it to any programmer and they can recreate the state. Okay, the next part is the vote moderator server code. This is, I'll explain this later, but this goes along with the vote server code, and it's just more code. So do the same thing. Go to the green button and hit download zip, and that'll make a copy of the vote moderator server. One question I get asked a lot is, because it's open source, does that mean it's less secure? The answer is no. Everyone can see what the code does, but they don't get access to your database credentials or any secure files that we build with the program. Okay, now on to the main event, the FrostCandy Vote server. So on the outline page, just go ahead and click on FrostCandy Vote server, and you'll be presented with the page that the voter is going to see when they come to your precinct to place their vote. So in this example, we're using an imaginary election in Orlando, Florida. So the web address might be something like Orlando, Florida 123 for precinct 123. The next thing it does is ask for an image. So the voter takes an image of themselves, and I also ask that they hold up a date that can be picked up by the camera to be read, so it's harder to Photoshop a fake person. So we'll do that now. I already took a picture. Let's see, me voting, and open. So it looks something like this. Granted that it didn't come out very well, but we would do that over and over until we liked it if we're actually placing a vote. So if I'm happy with my picture, click continue. Okay, once you have your picture set, the next step is to fill in your personal information. Nothing special here. You've done this on any time you've ever signed up for any web page, so it just asks basic information. I ask you for birth date because some votes probably have a limitation to how old you have to be, and that's how we determine that. I ask for phone number and email so that if your vote gets denied because, well, maybe you didn't put a readable address or a readable date, you could get denied that vote, and someone from one of the teams, the moderator, could contact you and say, hey, place your vote again, your last one was removed because of this problem. And they could tell you what that problem was. Maybe it was the wrong postcode, who knows. The last thing here is the way this vote works is that you will have to, at some point in your life, have got a vote ID to place a vote in this vote software. Okay, the next part is the ballot information area where you actually place your vote. The administrator for the vote who set it up can tell you some more information, whatever they want to do here. They have the ballot boxes with the titles and the hopefuls. There is the ability to create a write-in field, so I can write in whatever I want. There is the ability for the administrator to create election boxes with multiple selections, and if you make a selection where there's only one and the voter places the vote, it'll warn them and tell them that you have too many selections. So you can also leave a vote box empty. If you don't know who to vote for in that field, you can leave it empty. You can set up referendums. And the most significant part of the ballot is where we set your secret code. And this is how we're going to validate later that your ballot belongs to you. And you can verify that later personally. So you don't need paper trail and any of that to verify that your vote is what you actually wanted it to be. So I'm going to hit place my vote now. Okay, so I already used that voter ID, so I'll just hit another number. Okay, so once you enter your secret code and hit continue and it goes through successfully, you'll be presented with a thank you page for voting and a big long number. Now that big long number represents your ballot, and it's unique to every one of us who votes. So if you need to find your ballot out of the list, you would reference that number. This is also how we separate me from my ballot, but still let you, with your secret code, verify that your ballot is the way you wanted it to be. Okay, now that your voter has placed their vote, it's time to talk about the blue moderator demo. And it could be Republican or Democrat. I'm using blue for our moderator. So if you click the blue moderator demo, the password we're using here for the test is my password, MY password, and then hit enter. As you see here, the blue moderators and the watchers, for that matter, will have a screen like this that they can look at, and you can check this out in the demo. But the screen looks like this with new, accepted, denied, and blocked. All right? All we're worried about right now is the new. So all of these voters here are new, and here I am at the bottom, FrostCandy. Wow, okay, so if I click FrostCandy, well, there I am. So everyone, that means the Republicans, the Democrats, the blue team, the red team, whoever's a moderator gets this screen. So they can see every new voter. They could be miles apart or in the same room, but the idea to keep this safe and fair is that everyone gets the data, okay? So when you hit manage on FrostCandy's vote right here, you don't see how I voted, you just see information about me. So once you have this, you just look at all the data. First, you'll take the voter ID and you'll match it to your Rolodex of voter IDs and make sure it's a real voter ID and that it belongs to the proper person and that the age sort of matches. Their address, you can match that. And like I said, the email and phone is for me as a moderator. If something were wrong with my picture or my voter ID was wrong, I could call Frost and say, hey, you have a problem with your vote. I had to deny you, and there's a deny button right here. Okay, so let's go through and choose what to do with some of these people. So here's a voter. If we find out, well, his name didn't match his voter ID, we're going to deny him. So we click deny as a moderator. Watchers can only watch. They can't do this. So only moderators can. But then we get to choose the reason or add our own reason if we want. But we'll just say information mismatch and submit. Now in our denied list, well, here he is. So everybody, blue party, red party, Republican, whatever, they get to come in here and hit manage to see who it is. Well, they can see who it is right here, but they can also see the picture and why it was denied and who denied them. So right here it tells us the blue team denied and the name of the moderator. I just temporarily put mod1 as the name, but everyone knows who denied someone. So the moderators and the watchers from both parties get to see what's going on. If you hit new, of course, it just goes back to everyone who's still waiting on a decision. Okay, so I've accepted everyone else. If you click the accepted button, you can see that everyone is in here and you can tell who accepted them. Each party checked off that they accept each of these people, and you can always come back and look at their information if you're a moderator and you want to check something out. Back to new, it only has myself left, and if I manage that and accept it, submit, you see it immediately tells me that, yeah, blue accepted them. On the red's moderator, they're going to notice in the new that blue has accepted this guy. It's up to them at that point to deny or accept him. If both accept, it goes to the accepted pile. If either deny, it comes to the denies pile. Blocked IP is just if you're getting spammed as a moderator, you could block an entire IP. Okay, so let's do a quick live recap. This on the left-hand side is your voter about places vote. On the right-hand side at the top, we have the blue moderator. At the right-hand side bottom, that's the red moderator. That's what they're looking at. They can be across the room or in different buildings. Now the voter is about to place his vote. He places it. He gets his long confirmation number and both of the moderator servers. Okay, so it can take up to a minute. I have it set for a minute to refresh, and both the red and the blue server just received test, this person called test, as a vote, so they can click manage and they can see his picture and all about him. They both get the same information here. and they can both accept them or deny them or whatever they want to do. So in live time, we will accept them on blue. Yep, we accept, and there it is, confirmation that I accepted. And down here on the right, or the red server, we see that blue has accepted this guy. Well, that's right. Well, we're gonna manage and accept him too. And hit submit, and now it's gone from ours, and this will refresh, or we can just hit accept here and we'll see that test is, there he is. He's in the accepted folder, and both blue and red signed off on it. So that guy's vote will count. So keep in mind, there could be, say, 1,000 voters per hour, let's say. That might overwhelm just one moderator on the blue or the red. Well, you can have multiple moderators on the blue team or red team. It's just you only need one to accept a voter or deny a voter. You also only need one moderator from each team, each participant, to hit the end vote. And once the end vote is done, okay, so once your vote is over and both parties, red and blue, have said, yeah, the vote's over, everyone gets a page like this on their moderator software, including all of the watchers you have set up. At the top here, you can enter that long code you got when you placed your vote, if you wanted to verify that your vote is how you set it up. So you would type that long number, hit continue, it pulls your ballot, and all we have is this long number. So you and I don't know who placed the vote, but the person who placed the vote knows that number is theirs. They know that this vote belongs to them, or this ballot. They can go through and look at all their information to make sure it's right. They can also prove to us, prove being, adding confidence to us that it is who they say they are by typing in their password and then verifying. And if we build this code from their password, right? So if it matches, then there's a pretty good chance that the person telling us that that's their vote, it really is their vote. That's if we wanted to decide on what to do. Like if I said I didn't actually vote for Doc, it was a mistake. Can we remove that? So there's ways we can talk about how we want to remove a vote after it's been placed. Okay, really quickly, let's just talk about what you're seeing here. After the vote has ended, it tells you the number of ballots that were accepted. It tells you the number of votes in total. So each one of these is a different option, and the number of total votes per all the options and individual. So Ariel, for example, got 2 votes. Fiona got 2 votes. The total out of these options was 6, and the total votes overall, the options, was 34. So that's just the basic vote information. Down here again, this is a list of ballots. It would just list them all out. So that's why I say we probably want to have 20,000 or less per precinct. So after the vote's over, you may also want to look at all the people who voted and do your audit or whatever. So you would come in here, show voters, and then every moderator system and watcher system has a copy of all this. So just as good as a paper vote. You can see who accepted, blue and red in their name, and you can click manage and see what the status was at the end of the vote. This lady was accepted. This guy here was accepted. This guy was denied, for example. Again, you could have a list of 20,000, so it gets pretty long, let's say. So you'd want to keep your precincts kind of small just to save on RAM. You can do different things like switch around between denied. Okay, there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is the server itself. When you run a server, it's run in Linux, and it's got files and folders and what you'd expect for a server to have. The certs and JSON and voters, the voters file is what's important here, because this, at the end of a vote, is where all of the data is held on your moderator server. So the red moderator, the blue, all the watchers, everybody has a copy of this folder. And in the folder are these files, 1.vtr, 3.vtr, and so on. If it has a .vtr extension, that's a voter. That's the person's picture, their name, all their data. The voter VTI is the index for the whole list of voters. The ballots, that's all of the ballots. That's a file that stores all of them. So you don't need a printed copy because you have a copy right here. And by the way, if you did run a vote using the system, you would just copy this voter's file, 100 times if you want. If you need 100 copies, you would copy it 100 times. And anyone can get then access all of the voter data and all of the ballot data. But no one can put the two together because, like I said, they're tied together with a long number that nobody knows, not even the computer. The only person who knows that long number is the user that it was given to, and they can only create that number if they know that password. So that's a kind of a quick run over of this. There's a lot more I could say. Thank you for your time.